Hello and welcome to Racers Now. It's the usual Thursday night slot with my friend SD as we look forward to all the top class racing taking place on Saturday, the 17th of August. We're going to be at Newbury, bit of Newmarket, Ripon, who SD says is
Garden Racecourse.
the race at the feature meeting of the weekend, and a bonus selection for Friday if you make it that long. SD, how are you?
Well, good. Wasn't economics good today?
Very. I was hoping to possibly cover him later on, depending on how long it takes for you to get through all of your selections.
We'll be quick. Of course, we're starting at Newbury. I said we should be starting the Premier race meeting. Thank God Ripon have told the Premier people to piss off. And we'd say, but not being a Premier meeting, well done to James Hutchinson. He can be a miserable little twerp, but well done for that.
Yes, Newbury is on ITV, and the first race there is on Saturday on the ITV is the 150 Jeffrey Freer Stakes Group 3 over 1 mile, 5.5 furlongs. A disappointingly small field. There is no bet from either SD or myself, but I wanted to touch on it anyway. Al Arze is in there as your favourite. I put him up at Goodwood a couple of weeks ago when he won at 3-1, but now he's odds on. I mean, he's rightly is the favourite, but shade of odds on looks plenty short enough for a horse that can be unreliable in his time. Plus, he hasn't run over this trip since 2020, July 2020. Carries a £3 penalty for that Group 3 win at Goodwood. Not sure about this as a betting race because, unfortunately, Al Arze's only realistic challenger is Al Kareem, who's 7-2 second favourite, but probably wants a slower surface. It's a dodge race for me. Did you have any comment, SD, or are we moving on?
It is a dodge race. You know, Al Arze has a lot of talent and has called a few names, possibly unfairly. I think Al Arze will probably win. Not half as good as the 1998 renewal when, of course, Silver Patriarch won it, who'd won the 97 Ledger.
Fantastic. Right, on to the 3 o'clock. This is a 7 furlong handicap preceding the 7 furlong group race. So, yeah, this is the handicap. 13 runners, 5-1 the field, wide open. I've got to give Starlore another go. Regular viewers will probably guess that I'm going to do that. I just can't get my head away from how much of an eye-catcher he was at Goodwood at the end of May. Finished on the bridle in a typically Goodwood messy race. No show at Ascot, Royal Ascot, over a trip that was too far. So you can put a complete line through that. Stout's running at 25%. Marquand on fire. I thought in an open race, Starlore each way was a bet for me, and that's why I'm on him. I'm going win. Sorry, he's 7-1. He's a shorter price than he was earlier when I looked. So, yeah, 7-1 win on Starlore, please.
Yeah, I thought this was a nice race. I was happy enough to take on my leave here. I thought won a very soft race at Doncaster last time, and Zabriskie Point ran in what was arguably a better race than this at Goodwood at the Glorious meeting, and was trapped out wide. Still ran with a degree of promise. Out of trap 12, you know, you're at an instant disadvantage, and the handicapper has dropped this thing £2. 3-year-olds quite like a 3-year-old at this time of year. I thought 15-2 was very, very fair, but I couldn't leave Silver Samurai out with Billy Buick on. You know, he won at Doncaster. He's threatened to be pretty good, this horse. He looked like he'd be a sprinter, and then they're trying back over 7 again this year. I don't think a mark of 92 is beyond him, and with that man in the plate, I'm happy enough to chance him each way at 100-8.
Well, we're covering 3 different horses in a 13-runner race there, so fingers crossed we get some success. Starlore for me, last chance saloon in my book. Right, on to the feature race at Newbury is the Group 2 Hungerford Stakes. Group 3, should I say? Oh, no, Group 2 is Group 2. I'm all over the place tonight, SD. 1 of 3, 7 furlong Group 2 races in quick succession in the UK. Mad planning. We wait all the way until August to have a good race over 7 furlongs. We have 3 in 3 weeks, and then there's no more for the rest of the season.
And then there's a 6.5 one in France.
Unless you go to France.
And then I think there's one at the Ledger meeting, both for the Colts and the fillies. I mean, it baffles me. Of course, the Group 1 should be the Lennox. Never mind this bloody thing at York.
It'll be at York. The Group 1,
you know.
Group One
James
in
Brennan must be due for retirement soon, so we won't be hearing that drum much longer.
Yeah, a bit of a strange tangent to go on there, SD, but yeah, fair enough. I think this is more of a two-horse race than the market thinks it is. I think it's definitely between English Oak and Kikkuli. I think Tiber Flow, that race that Tiber Flow won at Haydock, and I put him up that day. You was on holiday. 1 in a million type ride, or 1 in 1,000 type ride, type run. Miracle to win that. He was miles away thereafter. So I do think it is between the top two. All roads lead to English Oak and Kikkuli, and they've got similar profiles, to be fair. Both had standout career best performances at Royal Ascot. Both have bombed out in not ideal circumstances at higher level races since. English Oak wazzed up in the Buckingham Palace. SD tipped him for that, but got no way near in the Lennox, which was an odd race. Audience the winner there, as we know. Kikkuli ran a massive race in the Jersey, only beaten a short head by Hartem. That's very, very good form. He's one of the most solid horses in training, Hartem. Kikkuli then went to a French Group 1, pulled his way to defeat early on. Plus, Kikkuli, he's a 3-year-old, rated officially £4 higher than English Oak, yet carries £5 less than English Oaks. You can get 3-1 Kikkuli, 11-4 the English Oak. I would prefer Kikkuli at those prices. One thing I would note in this 7-runner race, there isn't a lot of pace on, from what I could see.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. So you picked a horse at 3-1 who pulled like stink last time, and there's no bloody pace. There's absolutely no pace in this race at all. It's going to be run. It's going to be like a tractor. However,
it was a worry of mine. It was a worry of mine, but I think because there is a lack of pace, I think English Oak might end up being forced to lead. Or to put it another way, might be the least reluctant to lead out of these 7 horses. He kind of led a little bit at Royal Ascot on his own side up that rail. I think he might do that. I think he could possibly be forced to do the same again here, and hopefully Kikkuli can try and follow him and beat him for a bit of turn of foot. That was my thinking, but lack of pace is a drawback to this bet. But I'm on at 3-1.
Yeah. No pace at all in this. I wouldn't be surprised if our friend Mr. Buick made this on Jumby just to do something a little bit different. I'm not saying it will, but it wouldn't be a great surprise to me. And I think Jumby is running into form. He's going to have to, but it was a bit better last time in a 7 furlong handicap at Newmarket. He can win in small field affairs, which sort of leads you towards this pace thing. He's won a 3-runner race before at Salisbury. He's won a 6-runner race, and he's tactically versatile to a degree. Ed said there was some excuse for English Oak at Gilbert. I can't remember what it is. Kikkuli, I worry. I do worry about this horse pulling. I have to say, I think it's no coincidence. He ran his best race in a charge at Ascot. English Oak showed himself to be slightly more tactically versatile, albeit off a mark of 90 at Haydock. I agree with you on Tiber Flow. Witch Hunter, I can't see this being run to suit Witch Hunter. Popmaster probably wants softer ground. I wouldn't completely rule out the Fred Darling winner, but probably again wants softer ground. But the Fred Darling winner, Fulgaria, of course, beat El Malka. Admittedly, El Malka was clearly the best horse in that race, but I think there's question marks about them all. And I thought there are bookmakers paying 3 places in this, and I thought Jumby didn't deserve to be 20-1, and especially not when you're getting 3 places running for you. It's a tactical minefield, and hence my reluctance to go with those at the top of the market. So that's where I disagree with you.
Yep, fair enough. And guess who backed El Malka in the Fred Darling, but not in the 1,000 guineas? That would be me. Right, off to Newmarket for one selection, SD, in the 205. I have not looked at this race, so I'm relying on you to tell us all about it.
Yeah, Eminence is ran tonight, so may not run, so you may get ruled forward. Ran like stink tonight. I mean, they've completely mucked that horse up. He'd have won at Chepstow last week, but they've ran it on soft ground, and that's taken the edge off him. ran appallingly tonight at Windsor, so that shouldn't be winning, and I'd be surprised if it ran.
This is the grey horse handicap. I've only just realised you're having a bet in the grey horse handicap.
Yeah, I've attended this fixture in the past when Ripon's been a bad card, but I thought there was enough that they're exposed horses, but Grenham Bay, who was rated 78 at one point last summer, down to a mark of 71, ran with abundant promise at Windsor after a break of 3 months. Pulled like stink that day. Hopefully shouldn't pull today with that run behind him. Down to a mark of 71 from somebody like Balding. I thought double figures was very, very fair when you consider there's some absolute hands in this. I mean, Archduke Ferdinand's the same bloody price as this thing. The Archduke Ferdinand's a feral horse. It really is. So I thought 12s. I backed him each way, very small, but I thought it was worthy of a bet.
Yep, fair enough. Right, now we're off to Ripon SD. They've got 2 races on ITV. The 245 is the first. What's she thinking?
Well, of course, Britain's Garden Racecourse, Yorkshire's Garden Racecourse, Ripon. Fantastic card there on Saturday. We all know the hornblower should be on ITV instead of one of those awful handicaps at Newbury. That 5 furlong handicap at Newbury really is appalling. So what's my thinking? I will tell you when the bloody iPad starts working, and here it goes. A proper race, this. A nice class 4 on ITV with I think there's 18 runners in it. One thing I would say to you is Fortemore doesn't want the ground fast. I think he's run double-figure times on good to firm ground and has never been placed. He's amongst those at the top of the market for all he loves Ripon. Similar comments do apply to Roundhay Park. I will come to this in the Great St Wilfrid. Usually on decent ground at Ripon, you want to be at or near the stand side rail. That will favour high numbers. We've seen it through numerous occasions this year. I thought Grant Wood would have a pretty good chance. Was hampered last time at Haydock. Third the time before that. Won the time before that. He's now up to a mark of 80. They dropped him £1 for Haydock, but I think fast ground on a straight track. He's what he wants. He's reasonably unexposed for a sprinter. He's only had 14 runs on turf. He's trained by one of the best sprint kings in the business, ex-jump jockey Paul Midgley, whose son Tom is a very good rider now. And I thought he might be a touch shorter than this. I think each way he's worthy of a bet. Now, the other one takes a bit more explaining. It just takes time because he has run appallingly on numerous occasions this year. However, he was 8th in the Great St Wilfrid last year, out of 18 off a mark of 92. He's now down to a mark of 77. He was second on his seasonal reappearance at Doncaster off 83 in what was a reasonable affair. He's previously shown that he can go on decent ground. He's shown that he can act at Ripon. It may be the wheels have completely fell off, but I can't let him go and backed here off this sort of mark under what looked like ideal conditions and from a reasonable draw in 15. The yard's in reasonable form. It had a winner at Leicester last week, and I thought 25's a pony a bit big.
Yep, fair enough. Right, on to the big one then, SD. One of your favourite racers of the year.
It's the best flat handicap of the year, this. I love this race.
I think that's probably pushing it, but it might be the best flat handicap in Yorkshire. Anyway, 320, Great St Wilfrid. Where's your money going?
Well, as I say, I love this race. I was surprised. I think Dare to Hope will go a favourite. I'll go that far. You look at this run at Hamilton. We've alluded to it before. In a race that's working out reasonably. You know, he was only beaten a neck that day. He was giving Manila Scouse £7. Today, he's, let's get this right, 8.13. He's getting 2. He's £9 better off for a net for a run in June at Hamilton Dare to Hope. He's well drawn in 16. I think this has been the target. I put him up for the Stewards' Cup. Now,
he did.
As he was drawn 9. He didn't get a run.
Had an interesting jockey booking.
It's with C.I. Horn, and he's done well to finish 10th there. Very well to finish 10th. The handicap has been kind and dropped him £2. Heaven knows why. He's a previous course winner at Ripon. There's a lot of ticks in a lot of the right boxes. I think he should be clear favourite. Summergam will probably run his usual race, but at 10 years old, he's surely now vulnerable to something that people don't know a lot about, because Summergam does need a fast pace. He'll probably get a place, but be a hell of a training performance from David. He's run 101 times. You've got to take courses like that on. Interesting amongst the others, I thought, just going through them, Wob 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 needs softer ground. Radio Goo shouldn't be so far away. Kit Eye offers a pace angle for those drawn low. Monsieur Cody with the pocket rocket Jimmy Quinn on. I wouldn't be surprised if that ran well. But I thought as a saver, Bosch might be the one, and has the assistance of Sean Levy. This horse could be reasonably drawn in 13. Has some decent turf form, very rarely seen on turf, but he's 2 from 11 on turf. He was second in a handicap at Chester behind Radio Goo. He was giving Radio Goo £1 that day, so just going, and this is form from the end of June, and was beaten and nosed despite being drawn in trap 7 and obviously not having the best of passengers behind Radio Goo. So he's getting £1 from him that day. And today, let me just get this right. So that's 9.3. He's actually given him a bit more weight, but nevertheless, he should have a chance.
SD putting up the Richard Hannon horses. Right, there's a race of interest to you at Ripon that's not on the telly on Saturday, so is yet not priced up. But SD does have a minimum price he would like, and the horse is?
Well, it's Scottish Summit. He's 11 now. He's getting on a bit. He's approaching puberty. He's had 67 runs. He ran a race. I thought nothing went right for him on his first run. On his second run, again, he got hampered at a vital time. Possibly 7 furlongs is sharp enough for him these days. And the handicap has dropped him another £1 in the weight. I'd back him at a double-figure price. I think a double-figure price each way. He's in reasonable form. I think the fire has not yet been extinguished, and he should run reasonably well there.
Right. Well, that's a very timely number of selections there from SD and myself.
And there's another one.
I know. There's another one. And as you've made it this far, there is a bonus selection from SD on Friday at another one of his favourite Yorkshire courses.
Yes, Royal Thirst tomorrow, and we're going for the Jedrum Endeavour handicap. I thought Rock of England. Now, I have criticised Mark Wynne on this channel before. He rides him again tomorrow. I gave Rock of England an awful ride last time. He should have been there or thereabouts. The handicap has left him alone off 78. He's a horse running into form for the Sprint King, Paul Midgley. I think this horse is in form, and with a more tractable ride, he should be beating these. I was surprised he was 4-1. I think he'll be favourite.
Yep, fair play. You mentioned him earlier, SD. There was a horse ran on Thursday at Deauville in what's becoming an increasingly fashionable Group 2 over there, and that was the Dante winner, Economics, and I thought he was fantastic, to be honest. I thought he was really good. I just thought, obviously, he's been off since York. They skipped the Derby. I think he was in the Derby at the turn of the year. Then they took him out. Then they resisted the chance to put him back in. They've gave him a big rest. They've obviously campaigned him like a very, very good horse. under cotton wool, etc. Did you watch him today at Deauville?
I did. I'm sure Maureen Haggis would have been dressed like a Staffordshire teapot or something. Would have been absolutely delighted because it was a good performance. He was not beating trees. You know, JRB's former Ascot has been franked to various degrees. JRB got first run on him. He ran him down. To me, he looked for all the world he was an arc horse. Now, Willie has said after the race they're probably going to go Irish champion. He hit the line hard today.
Yeah.
I have to say, Willie does frustrate me at times with his cotton wool tactics, and it is worth saying that things can go wrong with horses, and I don't think any of us would dispute that the top middle distance race from now onward is the Arc. The way he ran would indicate that he could go to the Arc. I don't see an issue with him potentially running in the Irish Champion and the Arc. I think they could end up with mud on their faces if they say we'll go Irish champion, and it turns into a quagmire at Ascot. And I think he'd be mightily interesting against City of Troy. I think he'd beat City of Troy, but the noises out of Somerville Lodge are very much worth sticking to 10 furlongs. It's quite disappointing. And I hope what they don't do is give him 2 runs, he wins them, untried at 1.5 miles, and say, that's it, son, you're off to stud.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was really good today. He was at least 5 lengths behind JRB when they turned the corner. Obviously made those up and a couple more. JRB is a very good yardstick, as SD said, and them two were God knows how much further clear of the rest. It looked a decent enough field. Alain McQuan was in there, or however you say his name, a couple of apparently well-liked horses from France, but I don't know what they're up to. But yeah, so
Ornd will know. Ornd watches this channel, the great French racing expert. The next, what's that fella called? Claude, whatever his name is.
Duval.
No, Claude. What is his name? Anyway, he always comes. His name might not even be Claude, but Ornd will be the next French racing expert.
Anyway, he's economics. The way I thought the ground was probably quick enough for him today. He definitely wouldn't mind softer ground. I don't think that's the ground's going to be an issue for the rest of the season. For example, he's 4-1 now for the Irish champion. Although City of Troy's probably going to end up there, and he could well beat City of Troy. Don't get me wrong. He's 5-1 for the Champion Stakes at Ascot. But what you have to remember about that race is Goliath's probably going to end up there because he cannot run in the Arc. So that could be a nice field as well. And he's 14/16-1 for the Arc. Now, Haggis has come out and said it looks like Irish champion is Bahraini owners, Bahraini sponsored race, and then the British champion. But he looked all over an Arc course for me, as SD said. He won't mind a bit of soft ground. He'd definitely get the trip. He looked a perfect Arc course for me. And the problem we've got now is, well, it's been a problem for a few years. There's only 2 weeks usually between the Arc and the British champion, and they are cannibalizing each other a little bit, because I think in recent years the British champion stakes has actually risen in profile and quality to the detriment of the Arc. And you would think
what a load of bollocks.
No, I think that's
1996
I'm not going back to 1996 SD. I'm going back to the last few years. I think it's about 7 years since it's all been rejigged round, and it's at Ascot in the middle of October. We've moved on from Newmarket, mate. It's not going back there. It used to be there. It ain't going back.
Well, the pattern has been defecated on. What used to happen, you can remember horses like Racti did this.
We don't need
They would run in the QE. They would run in the QE2 and then go to the champion, and it was more of a speed race because it wasn't run on a quagmire.
What I'm saying is, and I agree with you, the premier middle distance race in Europe is the Arc, and I think in recent years, the last 2 or 3, the Champion Stakes has actually had attracted runners that could well have gone to the Arc, but have opted for the Champion Stakes. And you would have thought, with the Arc's reputation and prize money and prestige, that it would be the other way around. But I think recently it hasn't been.
I know what I would do if I was the French. Apart from employ Ornd as my racing correspondent. Why why are geldings not allowed to run in the Arc? It's bloody bonkers.
Well, there's at least 2 of them that can't go this year. Your Goliath. There was another Calendar Gang maybe can.
Yeah, it's just it is the premier middle distance race in Europe. It frustrates me somewhat that some of the premier horses are precluded from
Yeah,
it.
but I don't think you can run in the Epsom Derby if you're a gelding. I think.
Well, look, it's the counter. The Derby is a 3-year-old race. This is the race to settle between the ages, which is the best horse.
Yeah.
I just find it very strange and very frustrating.
I'd have Economics going for the Arc. They'd have to supplement him at about 120,000 euros. I think there's only one supplementary stage yet, and I think it's the week of the race. But for example, City of Troy ain't running in no Arc. He needs fast ground. Opera Singham hasn't even ran over a mile and a half.
You can get fast ground now.
Yeah, very rarely. Very, very rarely, I think. Economics. If he was an intended runner in the Arc, that 16-1 that's available now, I would be all over. Yes, I have already committed to backing Economics at 14 for the Arc in the revised market before William Aggie said that the plan was to go Irish champion and British champion. But anyway,
what is he on Betfair? I've not even looked.
He was to back was about 18-ish, but to lay was any price you like in the Arc.
That tells a story.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a fair way to go between now and then. It's 55.
I mean, he made this come back in the Winter Hill. That's a great race we'll be previewing next week.
Oh, amazing! Is that on the evening race at Windsor? Yeah.
Evening race at Windsor. Never mind.
I think I lost money to you on that race last year. Pat, was it Passenger? I lost. Yeah, I lost.
Yeah, terrible.
Well, I won off SD last week on Whistle Jacket. So that was decent.
Yes, he also had a fiver with me at 4-5 on Amnat, and I'm all
right.
And I'm not. It's just ridiculous. I mean, look at those P&L figures.
I'm not actually minus that. I'm plus. I think I'm plus.
Are you? You're down 15p. Do you want it? Do you want me to give it you? Then it looks a bit better for your figures.
Oh no, that's
I'll have 20.
No, that's wrong because I put a loser on today, SD. Because I put up a Matt Surrey at 66-1 for the Judmont, and he hasn't been left in at today's extra stage.
So the viewers love your solo rants.
So I'll update that live as we're speaking. I am minus. There you go. SD well in front. Right, we'll call it a day there. Hopefully there's some winners amongst that.
Come say hello to me at Ripon Saturday or Ponte Carlo on Sunday, and I'll be at. Where will I be? Wolverhampton Tuesday.
And I'll be at York Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at the cream of the crop racing. That's where I go.
Done.
Right. Thanks for coming.